Yep.
Share that with the office. Okay. Let me share my screen with you. I think that this is the one here. So I actually mocked this up ahead of time so I could kind of go through the step by step of
Mm-hmm.
I can't send, oh, I could send you this, but it's going to be pretty pointless because it's basically just traced off of the scaled image you sent me here. Um, so what I did was I just drafted this out with lines and fills, and it looks like you already have the line work over that elevation. So that might be a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
And trace it out so that you have the shape you need. Oops. Move this stuff off to the side so you can see what's going on here. So I've basically drawn out the inner sash, the main frame, the mullions, all of this stuff that goes around. I left this inner piece open because we're going to actually use an Archicad door to fill in there. The problem with saving
Mm-hmm.
a custom door is that it saves in whatever position the doors are at. So they're either always open or always closed. And you get into like some really tricky scripting to get it to work. This should just be basically save as and put it into the model. And you should.
Okay.
Um, so you get it modeled out with slabs like this, and I'll show you what's going on here. So I've got just the transom and the frame and the inner frame and then the glazing. And then this slab right here, I think is actually the most important. I think this is what you were probably missing yesterday when you sent me that screenshot with the triangles gapped out. Um,
Yeah.
so this is a slab, and it doesn't matter what it's made of as long as it lines up with the other slabs. So you want to save all of this stuff together. And then this slab, the only thing that's important is that the element ID for this is wall hole. So that's
Mm-hmm.
WALLHOLE, one word. And what that does is when you save this as part of that window assembly, it automatically adds a script to say that the wall hole has this shape. So it's finding these points, those arcs, those curves to make that wall hole work. So I have those things overlapping, and it's actually going to create that opening as well. It's going to punch the whole wall hole in and fill in the boundaries with these edges. Um,
Okay.
so then what we do is we select all of that stuff in plan. You go to File, Libraries and Objects, Save Selection As, and you could save it as a window or a door. I'm actually probably going to save this as a window because it tends to work a little bit better. And then I'm going to say that this is arch top transom. Give it a name that makes sense. Usually I would actually even save it with like the total width and the total height so that you know if the total width and height doesn't match in your door and window settings, then it's been resized. But I'm just going to save this as a window here. It gives all of the attributes here. I think that you can change these in the final window settings. These should be available attributes to the window. So you can change the materials and the surfaces after the fact. You just need to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that there are different surfaces in the slabs that you used before you save them. So you won't
Okay.
have like there's only three surfaces in here because I only used three surfaces to model that window. So if the outer frame needed to be a different color potentially, or you wanted individual controls over that, you would have to model those slabs with the different surfaces there. Or if
Okay.
the inside versus the outside of the slab was going to be a different surface, you would have to model those as you wanted them before you save them to give those individual controls. So then when we say, okay, I'll go ahead and drop a wall in here and go to my window tool. It automatically defaults to the last saved object when you select that tool. So it's already jumping to that embedded library archtop transom and sidelight window. And then I can punch that into here. It looks suspiciously opaque. Hmm. 1 second. I wonder, it could be that that was canceling out these pieces by building material. Oh, that's what it was, because this is like a super high, um, it was like a 900 rated building material. Let's move that over there. Okay, so let's try this again. This should work now. So if we go File, Libraries, and make sure I get everything. File, Libraries, and Objects, Save Selection As, Window. And then we can save over the top of this piece right here. Still not working. That's just weird. I had this tested out. I set this last night when we were first talking about this. That's really weird. Let's try this one more time. File, libraries and objects, save selection as, window. Just recognizing those surfaces. Something's happening here. Not overwriting that. Well, that's a failed presentation. I don't know. Showing all elements. Has to be something. Full detail. That's so weird. Well, let's try doing this as a door maybe. I don't know. I've got all the things. I've got the 18 slabs. Oh. I have all of the slabs set to wall hole. So this is where that makes sense now. Okay, so we'll set those to sash. We'll set these to say glass, glazing or whatever. Yeah, so it's scripting them all out as a wall hole. Okay, try this again. Save selection as window. Arch top transom, replace, okay. Apply that here. This is now using the other one. There we go. And then the offset option right here. So if it's saved at like a height other than 0 to home story, you might need to play around with this. Like maybe it's like -1 foot or something to get it back into the wall.
Okay.
1 foot 2 maybe. Anyway, and if you wanted the main frame to be thicker, this piece right here, for example, if this needs to be grab the right one. If this needs to be like whatever 7¼ inches or something, just model it the way you need to see it in the model. You can even include things like the window trim if you wanted that window trim to follow that. Just make sure that the wall is cut to the face of the frame or wherever you want the wall hole punched, and that the window trim is going to be located correctly to match the wall thickness. You're not going to have the ability to change. There's no parameters to say that it's this thick in the settings. If we look at this now, that's set there. And then this would be where I would want to set that to the inside face like that. The wall hole itself shouldn't really matter, but we can go ahead and place that here as well. And then if we save over the top. So I usually keep this stuff on like a hidden layer so that if I ever have to go back and make those changes, change the surfaces so that there's additional surface settings, you can do that and just save over the top of it. So you can go File, libraries and objects, save selection as, window, we'll save over the top of that arch top, transom and sidelight, and replace, and okay. And now that shows up like that. So then it is a bit of like a guessing game as to which side of the wall that needs to go to, and where it needs to fit in there. Once you get that set, and then this is why I did this separately, because then you want to go into your door tool. And I'm just going to pull, let's go doors and frames, wood doors, internal, and we'll use this door right here. And then in this door setting, because we already modeled the frame and everything, you can set the frame thickness to 0, and you can set here casings, no casing on this one. And then just drop this centered up in there. And then I think I made that like a 6x7 door. And then that's going to be the door component. So you'd basically just line those two things up and get them dialed in that way. But the door is done separately, so that way you get that door plan symbol. Because it's not impossible to do that with a custom door or custom window like we have here. It's just more difficult. You have to do like a lot of custom scripting to get a floor plan symbol and a 3D symbol, and it's a whole process. There is an add-on that can do some of that work for you, but I think the learning curve on the add-on is actually just as bad as the learning curve on some of the GDL scripting stuff. But as far as like creating a custom window unit, it's as simple as modeling it and saving as.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is really helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, let me know if you run into any hiccups or problems, snags on modeling this out. But I think really like if you take the line work that you already have on the elevation, and you can take the window that's in there and copy that window and that line work that you drafted over it, copy it into a floor plan view, and it'll automatically convert that window door unit that's in there into lines and fills. And you can use the starting place for tracing out the frames, the sash, the glazing. And then just that you have an overall slab called wall hole. And then obviously, like we ran into here, make sure that none of the other slabs are called wall hole. And you should be good.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. I will, I'll share this video up too. So if you need to re-reference it again, even though most
that'd be good.
bumbling through, shoot.